This is the story of a unique training program called NDP in the Jungle. In this film, you will witness some of the early influences that Dr Sue Jennings had in her development of Neuro Dramatic play, with her experiences of living with the indigenous Temiar Orang Asli of Malaysia. Dr Sue and her eldest son, Dr Andy, took an international group of therapeutic practitioners to stay in the Temiar jungle of Malaysia and practice firsthand the fundamental principles of neurodramatic play, from source to practice. In this short film, we will witness the journey of these intrepid students as they navigate their way through advanced neurodramatic play techniques, played out in the jungle to gain their advanced certificate in NDP, build on their foundational knowledge, and apply what they have learned to their work and lives. Neurodramatic play was originated and developed by innovative international arts practitioner and drama therapy pioneer Dr Sue Jennings. It is an attachment-based intervention that focuses on the early, playful relationship between mother and unborn child and mother and newborn child. Through play and drama, it emphasises a combination of basic trust, security and ritual, with stimulation, exploration and risk. Ritual and risk form the basis of children feeling safe in the world, as well as having a desire to explore it. Neurodramatic play enables people to become more playful and to think outside the box. It encourages people to be more independent and self-reliant. It affirms people's identity and self-esteem and the building of social relationships. Neurodramatic play is an ideal approach for working with children who have been traumatized, neglected or abused. Neurodramatic play has a unique influence on child development both during pregnancy and in the early months after birth. It is essential for healthy attachments, the growth of the brain, and the chemical balance of the body. As guides, Dr Andy and Dr Sue started gently with their group of students, providing initial training on neurodramatic play principles, group warm-ups and gelling sessions, through to sharing stories, ideas and techniques of best practice working with traumatized children. This was followed with an introduction into jungle life and potential hazards one might have to deal with in a jungle setting. On top of this, the group were acquainted with Temiar life, history, rituals, customs and language, including the huge difficulties that the Temiar and other Orang Asli groups in Malaysia face due to logging, deforestation, marginalisation, the forced relocation from their homelands into reserves, and financial poverty. The jungle can be a dangerous place and so must be treated with caution and respect. Before going into the jungle and meeting the Temiar people proper, we guided the group on smaller jungle treks through secondary jungle and introduced them to Temiar and other indigenous people living in towns and cities across Malaysia. In life, communication is key to our survival, happiness and well-being. When our communication channels are closed down, we experience trauma. And when we experience trauma, we often close down our communication channels. It can be a double-edged difficulty. Learning how to communicate involves the active participation of not only the self, but other people.
So, one of the people I worked with in a very large institution in Germany used to just do this in the corner all day. And the staff said, "Oh, ignore him, he always does that." And if you went near him, he'd scamper away to another corner. He wouldn't let you actually go next to him. So I asked to work with him one-to-one, and they thought I was mad. If you want to, mad English sort of thing. And he would tolerate me in the room about twice as far as this distance, and I did exactly the same as he was doing. And each day I moved a little bit nearer. So I would go into the room, greet him by his name, do the same as he was doing, say goodbye and go away. I could only keep it up for 15 minutes. That was bad enough. But in the end, he let me stand next to him. And at that point was eye contact, and he grinned at me. So I was thinking, since I'd done what he wanted all these days, would he change to me? So I tested, instead of going backwards and forwards, just slowing it down. And he copied me. But then he gave me a wicked grin and went twice as fast. But we were playing. So then we did all sorts of variations, side to side, as well as forward and back.
In healthy families, pregnant mothers will talk and play with their children prior to birth during the course of their pregnancy. This helps form mother-child initial bonds and aids the child in learning about communication. This communication continues after birth, before the child can speak, and on throughout the child's life.
Music to movement. So he could do other things, but if ever he got stressed, he would run away to a corner again and repeat this.
In this story, Dr. Sue shares using nurture and embodiment, and how isolated movement can be transformed into shared movement and the beginning of communication.
Okay, that was just another little case to share with you.
Through active communication, play and drama, NDP is affirming and encourages exploration, independence, self-esteem and the building of social relationships. Not all relationships are healthy. When children suffer trauma, either before or after birth, communication issues often occur. This is where Neuro Dramatic play can help.
But how could you use them to enhance your storytelling?
When utilising Neuro Dramatic play with clients and children, it is of course important that we know or remember how to play. Sensory play, utilising fans or other objects combined with storytelling, is an excellent place to start.
How far can you extend from your body with the fan? What can it let you do? Right away.
Our guide for the initial jungle training was Major Kalan Pie from the Malaysian Jungle School, a semi-Orang Asli.
But not with us. And the last group is my group, which is Malay, Proto-Malay, the origin of the Malay. We have six tribes here. So one, Midas, Malay here, my tribe, and Wala, Jakut, Kanak, and Serta.
In addition to learning about general Orang Asli indigenous history, he also took us on some gentle jungle hikes in secondary jungle outside of Kuala Lumpur. This was to help acclimatise the students before going to the jungle proper.
I think they exchange 1800.
Yeah, the explorers.
Yeah, explorers. I think the Temiar was using this as a for stomach ache. They drink the root, they take out the root, the ball, and they drink.
Once arriving in our jungle location, our student participants undertook observation and interactive activities in Temiar games, roles, craft and weaving. Participants would then be ready to incorporate these ideas and skills into their own practice and into the upcoming work they would be doing with the Temiar people themselves. This engagement also laid down the groundwork for a mutual sharing of skills, stories and knowledge between the Temiar and the participants. After every day we had a feedback session, reminding the participants that the training in neurodramatic play includes developing the ability to both give and receive constructive criticism. The development of critical thinking is one of the keys to success in NDP. The river is important in reality and symbolically for the Temiar. They have an intimate knowledge of the river systems in Malaysia and often feel disorientated if they can't place themselves in relation to a river. The river is important both for drinking, washing and cleaning. There are many river games that are played by children and adults. It is safer for children to learn to deal with risk in the river rather than the forest. Prior to Dr. Sue developing neurodramatic play, she had designed a theory called EPR, or Embodiment Projection Role. These phases, EPR, were sequential, i.e., children first went through a phase of embodiment, such as sensory development through close proximity to the mother, or the touching of certain objects, skin, fabrics, and so on. Then came the projection phase, where children would experiment with symbolic objects such as hats and other toys, or external stimuli that they could project feelings, ideas or stories onto. Finally, there came the role phase, where children could explore their roles in life through playing interactive games, characters or wearing things like masks. In contrast, although neurodramatic play contains all the elements of EPR, the different parts of NDP are not sequential. All the different elements interact with each other from pregnancy onwards, and the phases or categories are essentially fluid. They flow into each other during a child's development, overlapping and connecting as the child grows up. The NDP participants also spent time in smaller groups, developing their own stories from what they had learned and performed these to the community and with each other. The sharing of food in any culture brings people together. Food and the sharing of food is central to Temiar culture. However little they have, Temiar people will always share their food with each other and with strangers. Eating with the Temiars is a communal activity. People would rarely, if ever, eat on their own in Temiar society. Having learned and practiced a variety of NDP skills and techniques, it was time to turn dramatic play, or the imaginative story, into a real-life dramatic adventure. The students were now going to take risks by embarking on a jungle trek where tigers, elephants, snakes and spiders roam freely in reality. During this adventure, we identified plants, trees, birds and animals. We learned skills of trekking, observation, listening and how to utilise and care for nature, such as finding trees that you could drink fresh, clean water from, or trees that you could tap for poison.
Bobby, you like some too? That's what the Temiar do.
Well, it's if you're stuck in the jungle without water, that's a water source.
Children and adults were involved in all levels of all Temiar activities. We ate twice on this adventure, once in the jungle and the other by a river, where we helped make bamboo rafts to take downriver.
Yes, the plate is made of bamboo.
Oh wow, where are we now?
Just freshly made.
Where are we?
We are at the river, but I don't know where, in the jungle.
What have you just done?
Floating on the raft, on the bamboo raft.
How was it?
Great.
Yeah?
Very.
Very soporific.
How was that?
That was amazing, peaceful and curious.
We've just come on a Temiar raft down the river through the jungle.
What was it like?
It was amazing. It was really, really interesting, from everything from seeing how the raft was made. Sadly, I didn't help make it, wished I had. To seeing how the jungle changed as well as you came down. Went through some really dense jungle at the beginning, and then you noticed the influence more and more of deforestation as you came down.
I was on a raft down the river, and it was great. Just a beautiful landscape, and so quiet and calm. Yeah, just perfect to relax and calm down.
Now, you helped make the raft, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah? And what was that like?
Oh, it feels great to participate, and yeah, you can say I did it. Yeah. Going down the river. Yeah.
What was it like?
It was great. Really relaxing. Yeah, I enjoyed it very much, and it reminded me of stand-up paddling, so I could even stand up and enjoy the landscape.
Wow.
In Temiar land.
Incredible. Once in a lifetime experience.
The culmination of this unique training saw the students involved in 2 nights of gabag, or 2 nights of singing and dancing. The singing and dancing, or gabag, is a time when Temiar people come together. Historically, the gabag was a time for healing in the Temiar shamanic tradition. But in modern times, it's more used as a time for entertainment, particularly when outsiders are present. Rhythmic play is developed by using 2 lengths of bamboo, beating music on a log, accompanied by singing from a senior person in a call and response type structure, with those that are creating the rhythm. Gabags take place after darkness and usually continue till the early hours of the morning. Gabags can go on for many nights, depending upon the will of the people and the will of the jungle. The Temiar will not broadcast the fact that a gabag will happen in advance, so as not to incur any wrath from nature.
What was it like?
Great, we're laughing.
For more information about Neuro Dramatic Play in the Jungle, or for the NDP diploma, please see the website ndpltd.org. For more information about the Temiars, please visit the website temiar.com. temiar.com. If you wish to take your interest in NDP further, there are certificate and diploma courses available online in the UK and in China, and offline and online combined in Greece and India. In addition, there are regular webinars on NDP topics advertised on Eventbrite and on the NDP website ndplimited.org. You can join our NDP newsletter on Substack, which provides stories, techniques and discussions at drsuejennings.substack.com. Thank you for watching and for listening.